My name is Teresa Bejan. I'm a fellow here at the Society of Fellows in the Humanities and a lecturer in the Department of Political Science. I recently finished my PhD at Yale. My work really sits at the intersection between political theory and the history of political thought. I'm really interested in thinking about the relationship between political theory and political practice. And so one of the topics I focus on is religious toleration. In New Histories of Toleration, one of the focuses has been on toleration not only as a matter of state policy, so how states should govern religious difference, but also focus has increasingly been placed on toleration as a first-person practice or an interpersonal practice. So how do human beings sort of coexist unmurderously day to day? How should people divided by faith speak to each other? And one of the things I look at is the phenomenon of early modern religious insult legislation, and then how this might help us think about the concept of civility as a conversational virtue today, which is something that's a very pressing problem for both political theorists, but also in the broader public sphere. So I write on Thomas Hobbes and John Locke, but also Roger Williams, who was the founder of Rhode Island in the 17th century. Currently, I'm working on a book manuscript that's based on my dissertation. The title is Mere Civility, Tolerating Disagreement in Early Modern England and America. What you find in the 17th century, as today, there's the sense that civility is a kind of essential conversational virtue, but it's one that we're in danger of losing. So there's this sense of crisis. So I investigate contemporary appeals to civility in light of the way it's used in debates about toleration, and particularly how to distinguish the civil from the uncivil, and also how to think about civility as kind of this essential element of toleration as a first-person practice. How should we speak to others across difference, or can we speak at all? At Columbia now I'm teaching in the core, I'm teaching contemporary civilization. Contemporary civilization, for the purposes of the Columbia core, starts with Plato, and I'm teaching only the first semester, so it ends with John Locke. So it's very contemporary indeed. Teaching Plato and Aristotle again, the ways in which they conceive of a healthy community as being characterized by a kind of like-mindedness. The Greek term is homonoia. That ideal is a long-standing ideal. It sort of comes into Roman and then Christian ideas of concord or concordia, sort of the shared heart. And it's interesting, in early modern toleration debates, part of what's being broken down is this expectation that social life can ever actually achieve that kind of like-mindedness. The most helpful resource thus far has just been the community in the Society of Fellows, just being able to talk to such intelligent people in different fields already has really revived my research. Just sort of, it can become, you work on these things for years, they can become so familiar, and then someone can come in and sort of, link it to something that they study, and it is just, it is really exciting. But the other thing is that there's so many fabulous faculty at Columbia. In particular, there are some people in the history department who work on toleration, and so it's great for me as a political theorist and a member of the political science department to be able to go and talk to them as well. So I'm deeply committed to the kind of interdisciplinary and pedagogical missions of the society. I think it's having the focus on research, interdisciplinary conversation with other scholars, and then also with the teaching element. To me, it's really unique, but it really has a coherence so that you're exercising all parts of the soul.